Hey y'all, what's good beautiful people? It's your girl Tay and I'm here yet again with another beauty video. So definitely make sure you guys smash that like button, comment down below, subscribe, plus push your post notification bell button so that way anytime I upload a video, you will be notified. So I am obviously using a new camera to record, so I'm probably going to be looking all over the place. But nonetheless, I wanted to do this makeup application today with you guys. So we're going to be trying out some E.L.F products, okay? I have seen a lot of beauty influencers talking about all the different things with E.L.F, how good they are. I haven't used any of their complexion products or anything like that as of yet. I have used their moisturizers and some things from their skincare line, which is really good and affordable. But today I wanted to actually come on here and do a full face. And I'm thinking about doing a wear test. I'm not sure as of yet. It's Wednesday for me. Most likely you guys won't see this until Thursday if I do decide to do a wear test, only because I would need to wear it for the full day and then just kind of come back and give you guys a quick glimpse of what it's looking like at the end of the day after I'm done doing everything that I would do in a day. So with that being said, I am going to do my eyebrows off camera, of course, because it takes me entirely too long, and then we're going to jump right into the rest of the face. All right, you guys, so my eyebrows are somewhat done. They're not all the way done, but they are done. So don't look at me like I'm crazy because I know I look crazy right now. But jumping into the face, the first thing that we are going to do is actually take a look at the two shades that I have. This is the E.L.F Flawless Finish Foundation. It's supposed to give you a nice, how did they express satin finish. It's oil free, and these only cost $6. Now I did actually order these from their actual website, and I have two shades. The one that was recommended to me on their website is the shade Latte, which is supposed to be deep with olive undertones, and then the one that I purchased for myself is Cinnamon, which is deep with golden undertones. Now, I have warm undertones, that much I do know. I don't really look good with anything that has any olive undertones. It starts to look really ashy on me, but these are the two shades. This is the first one. This is the Cinnamon. And then we have the Latte. They don't really look too different inside of the actual bottles, but we are going to swatch them right now so I can get an idea. I want to get it as close to this area right here. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so they both have a pump. Well, obviously it's the same thing, but they have a pump. So I'm just going to pump out just a little bit. This one is Cinnamon. This one is Cinnamon. Right here. So that's what she looks like. So I am going to just swatch on my face and then a little bit down here. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then the next one is Latte. So I am going to pump out a little bit here. I did actually do these swatches when I first got this foundation because I'm impatient, but I just wanted to do it on screen with you guys as well to see what you think. This is Latte. And I'm going to put that one right here. Okay. So these are the two swatches right here. This is Cinnamon. And this is Latte. I feel like Cinnamon will work a little bit better for me because I feel like once I start to blend this out, it is going to look ashy. But we're going to blend it out anyway just to take a look. So I'm going to go in first with the Cinnamon and see how that looks. Really doesn't, I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but I definitely think that one goes with my complexion more. So I'm going to flip this over to the other side that has a little bit, no product on there, and I'm going to blend in Latte just to see how that looks on the face. I'm not sure if you guys can see. In person, it's probably not picking it up on camera. It's a little washed out on camera, but from what I can see, I think Cinnamon is going to be my best bet. Both of them don't look bad, but I feel like the olive is going to start to look a little bit ashy on my face. So I'm going to clean this off and put some primer on, and we're going to blend this out. Hopefully they look better. Okay, so I actually realized that we got a little bit ahead of ourselves, so we're not going to do the foundation right now, but at least we swatched it, so we can just jump right into that when we get to that step. The first thing that I like to do as of lately is actually do my eyes first, only because I am a little bit more heavy-handed when it comes to eyeshadows, and if there's any fallout from the palette itself, it's a lot easier to just get a wipe and just swipe away here before you put your face on, versus if you already have your face made up and you just have all of that product there, then you got to kind of be a little bit more careful, or you'll start to disturb your foundation and all that hard work that you put into your face. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to prime the eyes, and I'm going to be, I have a mirror here if you guys are wondering why I'm looking down. I am going to be looking at using the E.L.F. Putty Primer. This is what it looks like in the packaging. Okay, and I have this in the white shade. Yeah, it just says white. I want to see if there was a different name to it, but this is what it looks like. So I'm going to use a little bit of that on my eyes. Let me see if I can grab some with my finger and apply it. No. So I am going to use the sponge. I just start to pat that on the eyes. I've never used this before, so this is indeed a first impression. Okay, I'm hoping that this does the same work that my, what do you call that? My Juvia's Place eyeshadow primer does, because that's usually what I use to prime the eyes. I'm just going to use this brush because I feel like it probably would be a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. Add a little bit more. Never used this before, like I said, so I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work with the eyeshadow. If it's going to make it pop more. I should think it does, only because of the color, more or less. I will say it's pretty thick, so it's not as easy to move around as the Juvia's Place eyeshadow primer. Try to clean this up right here. Mute that. So now that we have got the eyes nice and primed, I am going to go in with my Cream Shop banana powder, because I forgot to bring down a lighter powder, but I just want to set where I put that. This is what it looks like, but I just want to set where I just put that eye primer. So I'm just going to use a little bit. I'm going to use my E.L.F. Fluffy blending brush, and this is what she looks like. Okay, so I'm just going to lightly and then tap out and then just set the eyes, just so that it doesn't. All right, so both of the eyes are nice and primed. For eyeshadow, I am going to be using the E.L.F. Bite Size eyeshadow, which is the Pumpkin Pie. This is what it looks like. We've got two shimmer shades in there. This one right here, and then this one. And then these two are matte shades, okay? Okay, so I did add some tape, regular tape, you guys. I'm trying to get their E.L.F. eyeshadow tape that they have on their website, but they are out of stock. I do know that they have it available on Amazon, so I'm going to go there, see if I can try to catch it before that goes out of stock. But because I think I want to do a wing liner, and this is also to give you a nice and clean line. Now, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can definitely just do the eyeshadow and then take your concealer and some type of brush. I use this type of brush for my concealer. But you can use a brush like this, a flat paddle brush, and just put some concealer right here where you want to clean up, and then just kind of clean that up right there. And then, you know, the rest of the discoloration or any mistakes that you have made is going to get covered up by the foundation anyway if you do your makeup like mine. But let's jump right in. So the first thing that I'm going to do is build my transition color or my crease color, and I'm going to go in with this lighter, it's like copper orange color here on the side. So I am going to get a brush out of here. I'm going to try to use all of E.L.F.'s brushes in this video. The first brush I'm going to use is the E.L.F. blending brush. That's all it says, but this is what it looks like. It's just a nice and fluffy brush. Okay, so we're going to go into this color here on the end, and we're going to start to build up our crease color. Hopefully you guys can see. Okay, so I did bring you guys in a little bit closer and I turned the lights down because I really want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So I am building up my crease color right here, my transition shade. Okay, and then I'm going to start to buff that out until it gives me the look that I'm going for. And this is pretty close to my skin complexion, which works out well. But I do like the way it is smoothing over this eyeshadow primer. I was kind of worried. I do know that they have one that's a similar color by Juvia's Place. I don't have that one. I got number 2, which is the light tan shade. And then they have a shade that's darker, which is number 3. And then, like I said, they have shade number 1, which is more of a white tone. So it's a bit more expensive. I believe this one by E.L.F was only, I think $5 or $6, whereas the one by Juvia's Place is $12. So just an option for you guys. Okay, so I've got my crease color in place. Now I want to start working on my lid. So I am going to go for a little bit more of a denser brush, and I don't have one by E.L.F, so I'm going to use this one by Equal Tools, and this is the shader brush is what they're calling it, but this is what it looks like. And I'm going to use this side right here. Okay, as you can see, it's a lot more dense as compared to the, where'd it go? What did I just do with it that fast? Right here next to me. This one. So can you guys see, this one is a bit more loose and fluffy, and this one is a little bit more tightly packed. Okay, so I'm going to use that one to go in and start to work on my outer V shape here. The shade I'm going to use is going to be this darker brown color right here. I do see some kickback in the pan, but not too much. So far, I don't see much, what do you call that? Fallout. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't see much fallout, but we're going to start to build this darker brown color. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see the difference here where I've kind of created a V with that darker color. I'm still working on it here, but I figured it out over here. So this is the look that I'm going for, the one that you see here. Okay, so for the most part, I pretty much got that color where I want it to be. Now I'm going to go back in with the first color that we use, that copper tone color here, because I want to put make sure that my crease color is showing, because we did lose just a little bit of it. So, and this crease color I'm seeing is definitely geared more towards my skin tone. I mean, I can see it a bit more in person than you guys can. But yeah, we just want to go back in and reinforce that color before we move on to the next step. Okie dokie. That's it. That's all we needed right there. Put that up. And then the last thing that we want to do for the eye, we're keeping it very, very simple today. I wanted it to be simple. I am going to try to find a smudge brush. Here, I have one by E.L.F. So that will be this brush here. Okay, you can see it from the side. This is also by E.L.F. This is one of their eyeshadow brushes. It doesn't have any numbers or anything like that, but this is what it looks like. And I think I want to take this color here on the end and add that right there to the lid where I didn't apply any color. So I'm going to try it first like this. Okay, you guys, so this is somewhat what it's looking like. I'm trying to get closer so that you can see it. I'm not sure if you can. It's not really popping as much as I wanted to, but that's okay because like I said, I did want this to be more of a neutral look. I am going to try to do it with my fingers to see if I can get just a tad bit more color payout. But I think what I'm going to end up doing is adding some of my highlighter right here in this area on top of this, just to boost it up just a little bit. But so far it's looking good. Like I said, these colors these colors in this pan are really, really close to my natural skin tone, so it's kind of hard to see, especially on camera, but it definitely looks pretty. So I think I'm going to go in with some highlight and see if that makes a difference. Okay. So to see if I can boost this look up just a little bit more, I am going to go into my Milk and Honey highlighter palette. This is by the Beauty Bakery, and I did get this from BoxyCharm. It came in a BoxyCharm box with this is how it looks, and these are the 4 highlighter shades in here. You can see I've pretty much been digging in them already, but these are the shades. So I think I want to try Be Sweet, which is this more orangey color right here, and see if I can put that on top of my lids and see if that'll bump it up just a bit, or if it's going to stay the same. You know what? I'm going to spray my brush. I'm using that same shader brush, by the way, but I'm going to spray it just to see if that will help pick up just a little bit more of this product on this brush, so I can get the look that I'm trying to achieve. Okay, yeah. I can see the difference. Hopefully you guys can see the difference. Like I said, I don't want it to be too pow, you know what I mean? But I do want it to be noticeable. So wetting the brush does work for this particular look, because wetting the brush don't work for me for every look, but some looks it work. I'm actually going to go back into that first brush that I used with my crease color, and I'm going to just buff around where these colors meet, just so that it has a nice seamless transition. Okay, so there's not a hard cut line there. So I'm just going to kind of buff in between on the lid, just so that it gives like a gradient of color. Okay, and the eyes for this look is pretty much done. Like I said, I wanted to keep it very simple today. Very simple, which actually for me is a lot more difficult than doing the more bolder looks. Keeping it simple, because I'm tempted to grab all kinds of eyeshadow palettes to bump up this look, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be good. Okay. I think that's pretty much enough. All right, so I did go ahead and finish up the eyes off camera. I added a wing on both sides, as you can see. It's a little uneven, but I don't think it's anything that's too noticeable. And I also put on some eyelashes. These are magnetic lashes by Kiss. They are foamy, and they are in the style Tantalize. So this is the little cartridge that they come in. Okay, so I do have those on. I did not put any mascara on my real eyelashes before I did this, so I'm going to attempt to do this right now without poking my eye out. I have to pick this mirror up. Yeah, just like that. I don't want to get it on the false lashes. I just want to get it on my lashes, just to kind of coat it and make it blend in with the false lashes. There, much better. Okay, so we are done with the eyes for now, unless I feel like I need to go back and do something. We will look at that later. But to get to the star of the show, which is this foundation. All right, so I want to be realistic with you guys when it comes to makeup application. You know, I'm in my late 30s. Okay, so I do have some signs of aging that is on my face. Not nothing that's too bad, but one thing that I do know is a problem for my particular situation is these really dark bags right here, and these really deep creases. As you can see too, there was a little bit of fallout from my highlight palette, but that's okay. But we are going to go in and prime the skin. For the most part, I think my skin is okay. It's been getting better, okay, but I still have a lot of discoloration and hyperpigmentation, a little bit of texture issues going on, but it's nothing that's too bad. So for that reason, first thing I'm going to do is add a little bit more moisture. I'm going to be using the Papaya Face Milk because my face still feels a little dry and I want to make sure that it's fully hydrated. I do have an SPF, the SPF moisturizer by E.L.F on my face already, but I want to go in with a little bit of this face milk. This is by Fourth Ray again, which is a sister company to ColourPop. So just adding a little bit of moisture, mainly on the bottom side, bottom half of my face, okay? And it smells so good. Oh my God, I cannot. Y'all see how red I'm getting just from wiping my face? That's how sensitive my skin is. It gets red. Like, just like that. Okay, so we're going to add some primers now. We're going to do primer. First primer that I want to use is the E.L.F. Poreless Putty Primer. I have used this. It doesn't do much for the texture on my face, but it is supposed to fill in those pores, and it is really hydrating. Like I said, I did use this, and it left a nice cooling sensation on my face. So I am going to go in with that first. No, actually, that's a lie. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to use my Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer. Hopefully you guys can see that. This is what she looks like. The reason why I use this is because this really does leave that soft marshmallow type feel on my skin. So I want to put this in my problem areas. I have combination skin, and I am more so oily in my T-zone area. So my forehead and my cheeks get really, 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 really oily, and obviously my nose. So I'm probably going to use this on my nose too. And then right here, I don't know if you guys can see, but I do have some really deep smile lines. So I do want to apply that there as well. Okay, so before I actually go in and wipe that in, I'm going to go back in with the Poreless Putty Primer, and I'm most likely going to apply that with a brush so that I can kind of skimp around the places where I don't want this primer to go. So I am going to use the Eco Tools Classic Foundation Brush. This is what it looks like. And this is what the Putty Poreless Primer looks like. So I'm just going to dig into that and then just start to apply that everywhere. I'm not really, you know, all that picky in terms of oil production on my forehead. That doesn't really bother me. So that's why I didn't put that blurring primer right there. But everywhere else, because you can see it does really start to peek through when it comes to my makeup, I want to put this primer basically around the perimeter of my face, just to make sure that my face and my skin is protected. Okay, and then right here, and then I'm going to stretch out that Laura Mercier. You don't have to do this. Let me just say that this is for my particular face, you know what I mean? And I want to be honest with you guys, because I feel like, not all of them, because there's a good select few people that I watch on YouTube that are beauty influencers, and they really give you the truth about makeup. You're never 100% going to be able to cover up all the blemishes and imperfections on your skin, but you can come pretty close. And products are not one size for all. So something may work for one person, it may not necessarily work for you. Okay, so for me, even though I would love to be able to only use one primer, because I know that I have those really deep smile lines, as well as some other, you know, imperfection on my face, I have to go in with my primers like this. Okay, so now I'm just going to use my hand for the Laura Mercier primer and just rub that in everywhere else. And it immediately, I want to say, it dries down. It feels almost like powdery, the Laura Mercier. The other one that I use is more of a moisturizer, so it feels more or less like lotion. But this one, once it dries down, it feels more like a powder, okay? And I can instantly tell that it's doing what it's supposed to do. Okay. I think I'm gonna put a little bit more of that Laura Mercier, y'all. Yeah. They have several different primers too. You guys might want to go on their site, but they are expensive. That bottle that I showed you cost me, I think, $39, whereas the one from E.L.F. I think cost $8. So if your skin is not as problematic as mine is in these areas, and I wouldn't worry about it, I would just get you a good hydrating primer or a good matte primer from E.L.F. because, like I said, they do have a putty primer that's luminous, which is going to give you a nice glow. And then they also have another primer that is more matte, which is obviously going to mattify your skin. So you can go for that. So what I am going to do right now is let this dry down just a bit before we jump into the face. Okay, so I did manage to let that dry a bit. I know I'm looking a little ashy right here, so I did actually go back in with the E.L.F. Putty Eye Primer, which is what I use to prime my eyes. The reason for that is there's this young lady that I watch, her name is Savannah Silver, on YouTube, and she actually uses the MAC Pro Paint Pot, which is basically an eyeshadow, but it's supposed to be long wearing and it doesn't crease. And the claims for this E.L.F. Putty Primer is similar to that. It's supposed to be crease proof, but I think it's for like 12 hours or something like that. I'm not going to wear this for no 12 or 16 hours, but still, I thought I would give it a try just to see if maybe I can cover up those deeper smile lines that I have around my mouth. Okay, so we are going to dip right into the foundation. I am going to be using Cinnamon, so I'm going to pump out some on my hand. That's one pump, so we're going to start off with that and see how much coverage we can get with that. I'm indecisive about whether or not I want to use my what do you call this, the brush, because I don't want to disturb the product, especially that primer that's down there. So maybe if I just kind of stipple it. So this is the E.L.F. Complexion Duo brush, which is my new favorite foundation brush. This is good for any type of foundation, creams, liquids, and all of that. And this is supposed to be for your concealer, but I'll show you guys what I use that for. So let's blend. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to stipple it because I don't want to disturb that primer. But for the rest of the face, I'm going to buff it out. I might actually end up using the what do you call that, sponge thingy that I have. Okay, I may need to use some more because it's not really giving me full coverage. Yeah, the only issue I have with this brush, it is good. The only issue I have is that it is very, very soft, and generally, even though I like it, like I said, I do like it. I think this will be perfect for me when I am using or trying to do a makeup, no makeup look when I am using more of a skin tint. But when I'm using foundation, it's just a tad bit more difficult to move it around. And that could also be because of the amount of primer and stuff that I have on my face. I think I'm definitely going to need another coat, but I think for the next coat, I'm going to use my sponge to blend it out. So let's go in with another pump. As you can see, I used that pump all up. So I'm going to do another pump and a half and add that to my face. Okay, so I did actually just buff that off, majority of it with my sponge off camera. And now I'm going back in behind it with my brush just to make sure that everything is nice and even and seamless. It is full coverage for the most part. It is buildable, so you can build up the coverage on this, which is good. I think that primer so far is working well because even though I can still see my smile lines, they're not as bad as before. So it did work a little bit. Now it's not doing much, I can say this, but again, this may not be the case for you guys, so don't use everybody else's experience for makeup to judge how it's going to be for you. Okay, you can still see the dark circles and the creases obviously up under my eyes, so hopefully we can get that taken care of with the concealer. I'm hoping. Let me do my nose. Okay, so now that that is nice and blended, I think the color looks good. We're matching more so down here than up there. And it's definitely going to look different once it starts to dry down into my skin. So don't worry. I know it's looking a little bit, you know, Casperish right now. But we're going to fix that. We're going to fix that. Everything's going to come together. Okay. So to highlight, I am also going to be using the E.L.F. 16-Hour Camo Matte Finish Concealer. This is what it looks like, and this is in the shade Chestnut. So I'm going to go in under my eyes. It's got a nice doe foot applicator, but I'm going to start to that is enough for the highlight. Now to contour my face, I'm going to be using the L'Oreal. I could have got a darker concealer, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back so I can just keep all of the e.l.f. products, you know, use majority e.l.f. products whenever I'm using them. But for now, I have the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer, and this is in the shade 435 Coffee. And this is what she looks like. Now, a little bit does go a long way, so I am going to say caution when you use this, okay? So we're just going to do 1, 2, 3. That's all we need on both sides. I'm not even going to dip back in. 1, 2, 3. That's all we need. And then we're going to go down the nose. I'm probably putting too much, but that's okay. I'm just going to have to blend the heck out of this. And then, of course, the forehead is what we want to do. One right there, one right there. All right. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then we're going to start to blend this out. All right, so I'm going to go in and start to blend out everything, okay? So I'm using this brush. This is not an e.l.f. brush. This is a brush that I also got from a BoxyCharm subscription. It took me a while to figure out what I could use it for, because I use it on quite a few different things. But then I looked at it again and looked at some of the other brushes that some of the other people that I watch were using. And I was like, this would actually probably go really, really good for my contouring. It's really nice and dense brush, good quality. I don't remember the name of the company. It says Battington on it, so maybe that's the name of the company. But I did get this in a set. It came with another brush. I think it's a highlighting brush, but this is what she looks like, just in case you guys are wondering. Very dense brush. It's not flat top like a kabuki brush, but it does definitely get the job done. It'll work fast because some of this stuff was already starting to dry down on me. I am also doing this video for school. If you guys don't know, if you're new, I am in school currently to become a certified makeup artist. Doesn't mean that I have any intentions of taking any clients, because most likely not. It was just something that I wanted to do for myself, but I have to do a picture of the contouring, so it was drying down while I was trying to get the right angle for my shot, if that makes any sense. Okay, now blend that out some more, just make sure that she is all the way in there. Now to blend out my highlight, I bought this brush from Target. This is by Sonia Kashuk, and this is the buffing concealer brush. I think it's number 151, but it was $10, and it works perfectly to get like in these crease areas. You can still use your sponge, but I prefer to use this because, ooh, a fly is in here. I feel like it's going to give me a little bit more of a precise blend out, especially in these troublesome areas. I have pretty much everything else buffed out. I'm going to go back in as soon as I can find it with my, where is it? Oh, it's right here. I'm going to use this to kind of mesh it in where the concealer and the contour meets so that I don't have a harsh line. I'm hoping you guys can see the difference. You probably can't. It probably still looks a little weird, but in person, I don't see that harsh line anymore. It's all blended in, so it's giving me a nice gradient of color. I promise you guys the lighting is definitely going to get better once we moved and I get situated in a nice little sanctuary that I can have to myself, where I'm not going to be bothered by people when I'm trying to do my videos. But for the most part, hopefully you guys can see that it looks better. So I want to start to set this now because, and I did lose a little bit of that nose contour, but that's okay because I'm going to put that back towards the end. But let me go to set my face. So the first thing I want to do, I am going to use my banana powder to set under my eyes, all the places basically where I put the highlight. I'm going to use some of this banana powder, same banana powder, just in case you guys didn't get a chance to see. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but this is a little bit, it's a yellow color and it actually does smell like bananas. So I'm going to use the sponge for this. I'm going to tap in there. This is about how much, and I'm also going to tap off on my hand because I don't want it to be cakey. And I'm going to press that into the skin. Okay, I'm not really going to do any baking under my eyes. I am going to do some baking, but on another part of the face. But right now, we just want to set these areas before all that hard work goes to waste. I am going to go down my nose. I'm going to let that sit there for a second. My chin, push that in. Set my smile lines. Well, that's pretty much all we need for that one. I want to make sure I got it. I want to make sure I got it, because if she ain't set, we're going to be in trouble. All right, now, I'm not going to put this away because I'm going to need that. Now, they didn't have any, their setting powders were all out of stock, which is why I'm not using them. But I do have the Black Radiance Soft Focus. This is my holy grail. I mentioned this in my last two videos, but this is what it looks like. It's in the shade Milk Coffee. Now, there is some kickback, Milk Chocolate, I meant to say. There is some kickback with this particular palette. I am going to use my powder brush, and I got this off of Amazon, but this is what it looks like. Hopefully you guys can see that. Nice fluffy brush, and I'm going to basically set everywhere where I didn't set with the banana powder. Tap off a little bit. Definitely come down right here. Tap, 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 and then just go around the perimeter of my face. Basically everywhere, like I said, that I didn't already set with that banana powder. This just help bring back, this also helps. I'm going to sweep this away with this brush. You can still kind of see the highlight. Like I said, I do got to go back in and fix that contour on my nose, which I'm about to do right now. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is use this brush, which I also got off of Amazon. I think it was $5, and I think that other one, the big fluffy one, was about $10. I'm going to use my iconic London bronze. You guys have also seen this before. This is what it looks like. And this is in the shade Warm Bronze, okay? This is the shade right here. All right. So I'm going to tap, tap, tap. Tap away. And basically bronze back up the skin. I'm going to warm that face back up, mainly around the perimeter. Okay, done with that one. Now, this is what I'm going to use the other edge of this brush, the one that I use for foundation. The other edge, I'm going to dip into that same bronzer, and I'm just going to go back into my nose and just kind of carve back out that contour that I had with this brush. I think this is perfect for this. You can also use this, like I said, to spot conceal. But since I already have a brush for that, the other brush that I have by Sonia Kushek, if I didn't have that brush, I will most likely use this to blend out the concealer. But I definitely think that that other one works a little bit better because it is an angled brush. And this brush is definitely a lot more softer, whereas the other one is a lot more dense. So that's perfect for buffing in my concealer, which is why I like it. Okay, generally I don't like to contour my nose for shape because I like the shape of my nose. So, but just for the purposes of my assignment that I have to turn in today, that's the only reason why I'm really going hard on this particular step, because this is not something that I usually do. I do shape out my nose when I do my makeup application, but I don't do it as harsh, if that makes any sense. But the lines have to be a little bit more prominent so that they can see them in my photos, if that makes any sense. And I think that looks good. Okay, so the next thing I am going to do is I do want to bake. Oops, I dropped a piece of hair. I do want to bake a little bit under here. It's the only place I'm going to bake is here. Okay. I'm gonna let that sit for a moment while I clean up a little bit so we can wrap up this video. Okay, so I got my hair wrapped up, took off my bonnet, got my hair up in a bun up there, which is what you guys are used to seeing me in anyway. I am going to go into a blush, which I actually probably should have did that before I set my face, but it's okay because it's a powder product. So this is the E.L.F blush, and this is in the shade Always Spicy. This is what she looks like right here. It's going to be really, really, really subtle, to be perfectly honest. I tried this out. It looks more tan in person, but we are going to see. So I'm going to grab my E.L.F blushing brush, which is this one right here. This is what she looks like. Okay, and we're just going to tap, tap, tap into the blush. Tap out and start applying that to the apples of the cheeks. Like I said, this is very, 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 it looks brown. So honestly, it's not really doing much. You guys probably can't even see that on the camera. But just to make both sides even, I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the other side of the face. All right. That is pretty much it for the blush. I don't want to do too much. My face to me is a little bit more rounded. So I don't want to add too much blush and then I end up looking like Santa Claus. So that's as much blush as I'm going to use. I am going to sweep this away now because I think we are done with that. Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay. And then I'm just going to buff over that because I definitely don't want a straight line right there. Kind of mute a little bit over that blush that I just added. Now I didn't add any additional product on this brush. I'm just using whatever was left on there to kind of go back over everything. And then last but not least, we are going to highlight. Now I do have a highlighter from E.L.F that I purchased as well. I actually got this at TJ Maxx. They had it there. I think it was like $2.99. But this is what she looks like. Okay. And this is the color, if I can get her open. This is the color. It's a nice gold. So let me find a small enough highlighter brush that I can use with this. I guess we can go into this one. It's not really a highlighter brush. Nope, I don't want to use that one because I can see it's got something on there that's going to mess me up. So no. All right, so I'm going to use this E.L.F blending brush for that. And I'm going to just tap, tap, tap in there. And I'm going to highlight my Cupid's bow. A little bit under the chin. I'm going to buff that in a bit because I don't want that to be too bright. And I have a shiny mustache. And then down the nose. And then the cheekbones. Which actually, let me use a different brush for the cheekbones. I do actually have a highlighting brush from E.L.F. Oops. That actually looks the same as a blushing brush, honestly. This is what it looks like, and it just says highlighting on the actual brush handle. So I'm going to dip back into this, tap out, and then I'm going to just brush over this area to give me a nice little highlight here. And do the same thing on the other side. I didn't think this was going to work. The first time I tried to use this highlighter, kind of sort of didn't work, but I was putting it over my regular skin. I was just playing. I like to play in my makeup when I get it. I'll sit up and just go through it and just start checking the colors with no makeup on just to see how it's going to look. But she actually doesn't look too bad. I think that looks good. I don't think I need any more highlighter anywhere else. I think that is enough of that. I just want to mute it just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, and then last but not least, I do want an inner corner highlight for this look. I don't really think that I need it, but I just want to. Let me find a pencil brush in here. I know I have one. Nope, that's an angled brush. Here we go. Okay, so I have my E.L.F. small precision. Okay, I have my small E.L.F. precision brush that I'm going to use right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. Focus. Okay, and I'm going to go back into my Milk and Honey highlighting palette, and I am going to use this lightest shade down here. Just a little bit of a shimmer in the corners, in the tear duct area. Can y'all see that? Y'all see the difference? Just a little bit. Let me turn this light down a bit so y'all can see what's going on with this face. Okay, hopefully you guys can see just a little bit of a inner corner highlight. Can y'all see that? Hopefully you guys can see that. I can see that. Okay, that is it for our highlighter. So I'm going to now spray my face and set my face once I get this back into the container. Where's my stuff? So I'm going to be using the E.L.F. Makeup Mist and Set Spray. Woo! I don't like the scent of that, all right? I'm just going to go over with my sponge. I might have sprayed too much. Okay, I'm going to let the rest of that pretty much dry on its own. And the last but not least, we are going to do lips, and then we are done with this look. So I have two products here, again by E.L.F. Pretty much everything in here is from E.L.F. I have this liquid matte lipstick by E.L.F. and this is in the shade, does it give a shade? Coffee. This is what she looks like. I think I'm going to use that to line my lips rather than use it as an all-over color. This is more of a, I want to say like a, it's not a rich brown. It's more like a reddish brown, so you can't really see it. It's definitely not a dark brown. I don't know if you guys can see the bottom of my lips, but it's definitely a light brown. So this would definitely be a good all-over color. But I want to use this other lip product that I have from E.L.F. with this. So I'm just going to use it to color the perimeter, so to speak, of my mouth. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that nice brown color. I could actually leave it like this, but I'm not. Okay, so the last thing that I'm going to add is this E.L.F. Lip Lacquer, and this is in the shade Love Bite. And this is what she looks like. I'm going to add that to the center here. Okay, it's good enough for now. Didn't do what I thought it was going to do, but that's okay. That is okay. So now let's wrap up this video. All right, you guys, so this is the finished look. I have everything on so far. I mean, in terms of first impressions, I will say that the foundation itself is really, really soft and smooth. I'm not seeing a whole lot of creasing. I mean, like I said, it's makeup, so it's not going to cover up every imperfection that you have on your face. I did show you guys that I have some really dark, deep creases under my eyes, and for the most part, I believe that the concealer did a pretty good job. I'm not feeling cakey. It doesn't look cakey. I will most likely have to get that MAC paint pot, the Pro paint pot that I mentioned to you guys, because I can still see one of my smile lines coming through. You guys can't see it, but I can see it here. But that's common with me with all of the different makeups that I wear. So that's not an e.l.f. problem. That is just a me problem, something that I need to look into to see if I can get that to go away. For the most part, I don't really care. But I mean, when you're trying to take pictures and all of that for social media, you know, you kind of don't want that to show up in the picture because it's not going to be cute. So for the most part, I will give E.L.F. a high five, pretty much. I mean, there's nothing else to say. I think that everything worked really, really good. Everything looks really, really nice and seamless. I was a little worried about the color at first. I was a little scared because it was looking a little pale and I was looking a little orange. But as you guys can see now, you know, my neck is darker than my face. And that's common for a lot of us darker skinned women. We are usually multicolored for the most part, but as you can see, the majority of the face is more so matching my actual skin color down here, which is what I try to go for. So for the most part, I'm going to say that E.L.F. did good. Don't think I'm going to be doing a wear test for you guys just because I have so much to do and I also have another video that I need to record for y'all. But for the most part, I'm going to say I think I like everything. It's definitely going to be something I'm going to be using on a regular basis. And what I like most about E.L.F. is obviously the fact that they're affordable. The foundation is only $6 as compared to the other foundations that I have purchased, like Anastasia Beverly Hills. I think it's 40 bucks. Usually Rare Beauty is about 29. So $6 for foundation is definitely not a major sacrifice in the finance department. Okay, but on that note, you guys, I'm going to say, as always, I hope this information was in some way helpful. I hope you enjoyed sticking around with, for my makeup application today, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video. All right, peace, beautiful people. Okay, you guys, so really quickly, I am actually using my actual professional camera. Usually when I record, I am using my cell phone or my tablet because it's just much more convenient, but I am actually using my, like I said, my professional camera. I'm in my bathroom right now, and I did want to kind of come on and let you guys see how the makeup is looking. Obviously, I have taken off my lashes and my lip stuff is completely gone, but this is how the makeup is looking. Now, I don't walk around and blot my face generally. I'm a mom, okay? So anything that I do has to be mommy approved, okay? I'm not a supermodel or anything like that, but I did want to let you guys see how the makeup is looking, and I have better control of the camera, obviously, so I'm just gonna zoom in a bit so you guys can see more or less how my skin looks up close with the makeup on. I don't know if you guys can tell. So it is, I want to say it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock, okay? I finished putting this makeup on at around we'll say between 2 and 3, so it's been, give or take, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we'll say it's been about 5 hours, so it hasn't really been a complete full day of wear, okay? But this is how it is looking. This is how it's looking under my eye, so not too bad for 5 hours, okay? This is that really difficult smile line that I was talking about. I have the most difficulty filling this in, but I did want to give you guys a close-up shot of my skin because, you know, I want to be really, really transparent with you guys and show you, you know, I have a little bit of some skin texture issues going on here. You can't really see it when I'm recording with my other devices, obviously. Let me zoom back out. You can't really see it on my other devices, obviously, so I wanted to show you guys on this one. But hopefully this review was in some way helpful to you guys in the least little bit. I know this is like way after my outro and all of that, but I just had to. I was like, let me do this, and it also gives me the opportunity to use this camera and see if this is something that I want to use moving forward. I'm lazy, you guys. Well, not that I'm lazy, but I edit my videos on my phone or on my tablet. My editing software is on there, and I don't know how to use the editing software that you would have to purchase and put on an actual PC or a computer. So that's the main reason why I do it. But I think I figured out a way where I can actually send this footage to my actual cell phone. So that's most likely what I'm going to do. But I'm rambling right now. I just wanted to let you guys see how my face is looking right now. Hopefully, again, this information or this review was in some way helpful. But I will definitely see you guys in the next makeup review video. All right, peace.